Hello, welcome back to another watch restoration video, and today we have a Rolex Oyster Royal model reference 6444. So this has come in for a service as it's stopped. So I've already had the back off to have a quick look at the movement. So I'm just going to show you now. So the case back is loose. So always put your spring bar back in the position you took it out. So you always remember, don't scribe in the back. Or sorry, not in the back, but in the back of the clasp here. You see some people etch all in here. Just put it back. No problems then. Right, so let me just show you the movement. Here's the case back. There you got 6444, lots of service marks. We don't need to do that anymore. We can put them on computer. Get rid of that gasket because that's redundant. And I'll just put the case back to one side. So here's the movement. Beautiful Rolex movement, manual wind. Now there is a fault with this movement, so let's see if you can spot it. I'll just put that down and we're going to grab the balance. Look at all that play. The balance staff has snapped. So it's either been dropped or had a big knock, one of the two. So once I run in this position, you turn it over and it will stop. So let's just check the hands before we start decasing it. See how the second hand there jumps back? That means the friction of the cannon's correct. So that makes it a little bit easy when we're building it up. We don't have to start messing around with the tension of the cannon pinion. Just grease it accordingly and hopefully it'll be okay. So yeah, that's always a nice bonus. Normally the cannons that free, you have to tighten them. Now I'm just giving it a wind there, but I think the mainspring is broke as well. I can hear it clicking. Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, slipping there. So the mainspring's broke and the balance staff's broke. So hopefully there's no other damage in the movement, but we'll find out. So let me start decasing this watch. The case clamps out. Let's see how this setting lever screw is. You can see here, if you look closely, you can see all the brass that's been kicked up by the wrong size screwdriver. See that round there? So someone's just rammed in a screwdriver and just wrecked the plate basically. Not too bad, but just no regard there. Just pick the right screwdriver. Like that one, it's too big, so use the one down. There you go, not even touching the plate. That's it, screw it back down. And there you go. Put the case to one side, I'll strip that down later. the hands and dial. Movement ring. So, before I'm going to start messing around taking the hands off, I'm going to get me finger dots on. I don't want to keep touching that dial. And then we'll get the hands off, get the dial off, and start stripping it down. Finger dots are on. Just stops any transfer of grease onto the dial. The dials are precious, so are the hands. I know I'm stripping down the watch. Doesn't matter if I get my fingers on the movement, because it's all going through the cleaning machine, but the dial's a different matter. Let's see if this then goes in. I did tighten that set and lever screw back down, but not too far. Buckle it. Here you go. So I'm just going to take the hands round there to the second hand. Place on some protective plastic. Find my hand levers. 1 second. And let's get the hands off. So straight in under, nice and tight. There you go. Plastic away. I'll just tip these hands off to one side. Now let's look for the dial feet screws. There you can see one, and there'll be one on the other side. They were loose, or that one was. That's quite loose as well. And that dial has come straight off. And no dial washer, but it's stuck on the back. Good to see that there is a dial washer. Stripped down so many watches, or vintage watches as well, and there's no dial washers, so the hands must have been bouncing around all over the place. There you go, there's the back of the dial there. I'll show you you pick up the numbers there on the camera. 03, looks like a star, 577, and then there's a 1 there. So I'll put that safe. Remove the hour wheel to see if it's loose. Quite loose, but just out of habit, I like to run the cannon pinion round in my tweezers, and that just takes off any burrs. It's like burnishing just where the hour wheel sits. You always want your hour wheel nice and free to drop down. It could drop down, or it might not drop down because it's burred, but also some people oil them and grease them. There's all sorts of mess that we see, but this one drops down now and it's still dirty, so that's good to see. So I'll show you that. Nice close look. Nice condition, really. Been well looked after, this watch. We do see some poor examples, but this one is a good example. I'm going to pop that in the movement holder and we'll start stripping it down. The watch movement is now in its movement holder. I did have a dedicated movement holder for this caliber, but I can't find it. So I've just popped it in the standard version one. It's fine. It's holding it, supporting it correctly. So I've got no concerns with it, but it's always nice to have the correct one for the right caliber or for the right line of movement. Line is the size, it's the use. So you might see 11.5, 10.5 line. That normally it's just the diameter. So if you see that on a movement holder, that's what it means. So you can get generics as well from the manufacturer. So let's get this stripped down now. So first thing is to back the power off. I know the mainspring's broke, but there's still a little power in there. So that's the first thing to do. So I'm just going to try it with the pegwood first. Just put the pegwood in, back off the clip. There you go, the power's off. Wasn't fully wound. If it was fully wound, you just slowly let it down. Don't take out the pallet and just let it whiz. It's not the best thing to do. So I'm going to discard the balance now. But I'll just show you before. I'll use my pegwood. You see that wobble? You see that? That's the staff broke. A bit tight there on the feet. So tip, when you're lifting out the balance, come away from the center wheel here. Don't just lift it up, because you'll damage the hairspring. You'll have it bending down and you'll start rubbing on the balance and giving you all sorts of problems. So lift it like that, just enough to clear the staff. I know this staff's broke, but if it wasn't, then you just pull it away. And you just take it away from that center wheel. I see so many wrecked hairsprings because of that practice. Just yank out the balance cock and yeah, just destroy the hairspring. I'll get rid of this now. I'll sort that out later. So I always like to just check the end shake. So I'll just check the end shake of the pallets and the escape wheel. They're good. So I've had a good look over this movement. The escapement looks good. I haven't got any concerns, but I'll always double check it. That's quite tight, them pallets. I mean, I'm not pulling hard, but is there a burr on the lower pivot? Is it just stuck? That is unusual. I'm going to have to check that maybe under the microscope, or with a real strong eyeglass 25 times. So that bottom pivot, you just seen there's a burr on there, so that will give you issues once it's all clean. It could be the jewel hole. Someone could have oiled this jewel, because you don't oil the pallets, but someone could have oiled that and it's dry, so it's created like gunk, and that's why it was giving me friction. So obviously I'll peg it out, but I'm just gonna run them pallets under a microscope and just see if there's a burr on that pallet staff, because if there is, you might have to replace the pallet staff, which is a problem. Center seconds friction screw, friction spring, center seconds pinion, good condition. And now the center seconds driving wheel, which is geared on this watch to the fourth wheel. So this goes round once a minute. So there's a few ways of taking this off. Firstly, I'm going to try my wheel puller. So it just goes around here, and it's plastic, so it just pushes down onto the plate. If not, then you have to use a tool that goes underneath. You have to put some paper there or plastic so it doesn't scratch the plate. Anyone who services Rolexes or watches like this, you normally see some scratches here, normally in parallel scratches. Well, they've used a tool that goes underneath, and they simply didn't protect the plate and scratched it. So always protect your work. Why damage anything if you don't need to? So the end shaker, that's good as well. And the third wheel here, I'm just going to go in here, just check the end shake on that. That feels good. That's nice. And while we're at it, I'll just check the center wheel. I know it's got the Canon on, but I'll just check it first, and then I'll check it without the Canon on. So I'll get this off, turn it around, just take the Canon off as well. Then I'll check the balance. So let me go and find that tool, and I'll be back in a second. Here are the two tools that I use normally to remove any carrying wheel, driving wheel, like this. So this one, see how thin it is? So this would slip underneath, go to here, and then you just prise it up. You just move it in because it's tapered, but you must protect the plate or you'll scratch it. It is finished, but it would still scratch it. And also this, a wheel puller. And this acts down on the wheel. So I'm going to try this first. If there's enough height, meaning the wheel's off the plate so I can get underneath, I'll use this. So let's just try it. So I'm confident that this is down securely. The lever is underneath. Can you see that on the camera? I'm just going to place it down. Oh, come off anyway. Let me just show you the wheel. There's the wheel. This way, you're less likely to misshape the wheel or knock it out of true. Because sometimes when you put these back on, they're out of true. So you always have to check that. And there you go. See the pivot? So I want to remove the Canon pinion. I'm just going to move that round like that. It's out of the way. That's how I remove the Canon pinion. So I am not leaning on the plate. Sometimes you see marks around here. And again, you move away from any of the jewel holes here because there could be a pivot here. I know on this Calibre there isn't, but there is. So you always take it this side. It's nice and chunky. Pass it down. Just grip the Canon. It comes off. I knew it wasn't too tight, so it's come off straight away. So there you go. There's the Canon. ratchet wheel next. So it's good when it just falls off. And you can see. Now has this been rebushed or has a bush? I'm just going to check the end shake. Yep, there's end shake there. Just checking the side shake. That's really tight. That's nice. That has been addressed in the past. Again, you can tell when the watch has been looked after. You know when you start stripping it down. You know when you first open it up. Okay, there's scratches and bits of damage, but overall, it has had regular servicing by someone who's competent. It's just the right screwdriver for here. Yep. So upper crown wheel. That just splits. And here's the shim underneath. You should always have these. If not, you need to fit one because it stops the barrel bridge from wearing out. Plus, you'll find when you're winding the watch, the teeth sometimes slip. Not because it's down enough, just because it moves around. And then you get lots of wear here as well. You'll see lots of brass. The bridge, I'll remove the cap jewel later. Center wheel. Third wheel. It's actually the driving wheel is actually on the third wheel. I said the fourth wheel, I think. This is the fourth wheel. And the escape wheel. So that will go with the pallets because they get cleaned separately, because after cleaning I drop them in Epilam. So I always put them in a separate pea basket. I'm just going to check the side shake and play. I know I checked it there. I'm just going to check it here. So I say there's a little bit more on the barrel. I mean, it's not massive, but there is some play there. I'm not too concerned. One way of checking how bad it can be is if it starts hitting the bottom here on the, let's bring it up to the camera. So you've got your base plate here and the gap here. If it's like resting on the bottom, that means it's flopping down to one side. There's a nice gap there. You see that? Yeah, there's play, but it's not hitting that at all. I'm happy with that. Otherwise, you've got to close and some holes, or maybe change the barrel, because sometimes it could be the barrel that's worn, not the holes. That's nice and loose. I'm not jamming in the screwdriver, I'm not making any marks, I'm just manipulating it off. There you go. It's a barrel. It's free. Quite a bit of end shake on the actual barrel itself, so I'll actually reduce that. It's too much. But I can see there's not much wear on this barrel at all. So that's good. Let's remove the setting lever. Tighten it back down all the way this time. So you've got your winding pinion, and out pop the sliding pinion. The spring bar is under tension. Sorry, the return bar is under tension on the other side. Remove the setting lever spring. Just put my finger over there in case it wants to pop off. It's your minute wheel, nice and free, not stuck down with too much oil or grease. Intermediate wheel. You can just see that. And then you've got your return bar and return bar spring. So I'll tackle the return bar spring first, take the tension off that. There you go. Now the return bar, sometimes this post burrs. Oh, come out first time. So far so good. We have to remove the bottom shock, the cap jewel for the escape wheel, and then obviously on the bridge I need to do that. So I'm going to prep that now, and I'm going to show you then. I'm going to remove the balance from the balance cock as well. I'm going to show you how I've done that. Then it's time to get the watch movement part into the cleaning machine. The bottom shock is out, and also the bottom cap jewel for the escape wheel is out. So I'll just show you the top one. I'll put the balance back in. Best way, it's in its correct place. Less likely to slip and damage the watch. I'll just do that now. Hopefully you can pick it up on the camera. I'll just show you that. You see how that has lifted up and allows us to remove the cap jewels and housing. I'll turn it upside down, see if it'll fall out. Nope. I know the balance taps broke and it's being replaced, but you don't just gouge in with your screwdriver. So just a little bit of Rodico. The cap jewels lifted off separate. And then the housing. There you go. See that? I'll just put the spring back in place. So it's under tension, and then you basically just turn it and it locks it. You can turn it either way on some of them. On this one, it just moves over to the to the right. So I'll just do that now. That's locked down. It is brass coloured with all the other brass, so it might be hard to see. I'll catch that light for you there. Balance needs to come out now, so normally when you're cleaning a watch you'll put the balance and the balance cock in the cleaning machine together, but there's no point. I need this out. So screw here, the balance stud screw, tiny screw. I'm doing that from afar. Just back it off, and then the top tip is just push down on the stud, just see if it wants to fall. Just to be safe, I'll push down with pegwood. Yep, that's dropped down. See, it's the triangle stud. So I've just pushed that down, so the screw goes on the back of it, and I'll just push that down, so that will want to come out now. Just zoom in the camera. Not back that screw off enough. Let's see if the balance stays where it is, because it could have an issue with the friction there. So I don't want to keep turning over the balance. You can sometimes start catching the hairspring. I'm just going to poke down again with the pegwood. There you go, look at that. That's the bottom of the balance cock. There you can see the hairspring pins. Sometimes it has protection on the pins to stop the hairspring from catching. So obviously if that had that, I'd back that off first before putting the balance back in, undoing the screw. Let's see if you can see this on the camera. So that's your hairspring pins and stud. Don't forget to tighten that screw back up, because it'll come out in the cleaning machine and will probably get lost out of the baskets and into your fluids. So always tighten that back up. I'm going to do that now before I forget. Just put it to one side, down like this. Nice and tight. You'll see through the hole. That screw's gone all the way through. Can you see that? That's not going to come out. And here's your balance. Nice blue there, hairspring, Breguet over coil. So it's the top pivot that's broke. I will do a separate video on how to change balance staffs and how I do it. I do it quite an unusual way. Just from practice working on the benches for years and years, we had to do balance staffs in a real quick time. I used to dread doing them until I got better at them and quicker at them. And in modern watches, I didn't even put them on the poising tool. I just put them straight back in the watch. I was that confident they'd be poised. And we just used something called dynamically poising, where you just took a little bit or turned one of the screws at the top or the bottom and adjusted it accordingly. But you get used to doing that when you're doing a lot a day. So there you go, there's the balance. So So you might as well put the balance cock back on. Safest place for it, because if you just left that in the basket, you got them small brass pins. You don't want to change them, trust me, they're an absolute nightmare. So put it nice and safe. I can grab it with my hands. See the shock jewel there? So this needs to come out. Modern cleaning machines, people do leave them in, but I don't know how well this has been cleaned in the past. I'd like to peg it out, so I'm going to take the cap off. I hope this picks it up on the camera. It's just a spring. I'm going to use a small screwdriver, just back that spring back, and it will just pop. That's it. That's all I've done. First time. Spring is out the way. I'll just show you first. Spring is slightly lifted now. You see that? You don't need to take it all the way out. It's designed to do this. Again, there'll be oil there, so small amount of Rodico. Take your jewel out and put it in your basket. Don't forget to put the spring back. If your tweezers are nice and sharp, you should be able to do this. And there you go. Back in position. And that's ready for the cleaning machine. Barrel next. Now this has a big arbor, so let's see if we can just push down and flick the lid. Nope, the benchmark's too soft. I'm just going to grab a hard surface just to show you. Then we're going to push down again. You hear that pop? Lid. Wow, this is clean. So I don't know what's happened to this watch, if this has had a service somewhere and they've not been able to change the balance staff. There's normally always a story with some watches that come in, but why is that so clean? But it's broke, so I don't know. Can I get that out? That's the arbor. Mainspring, you just pull it out, explode it in your hands. That's your barrel. There's the broken spring there. That's the mainspring to be discarded. So this definitely has had work. It is really clean. When I say really clean, obviously there's all dry oil there, but there's elements to this watch that are clean. So I'm not sure the history of this, why it's come through now. It could have been serviced a long time ago. The oils are dried and it's just been sat there. Normally that it is an old watch. So there it is. That's a Calibre 1210. I'm going to get this in the baskets now. Here is the watch in the baskets. Next basket. So just spread out the parts basically, just so they don't bang into each other or damage it. You know, similar parts. All the delicate ones are in this P basket. The escape wheel and pallets are in this one. And then on its own is the base plate. So when they go into the cleaning machine, like that, lid. My machine is a top loader by Elmer, ultrasonic, vacuum. Yeah, that's the baskets there. And then with the case, In the next video, I'll decase this, just show you how I remove the bezel and everything. We're going to do a separate video for the balance staff, and obviously a separate video of building up the watch, oiling, greasing, setting it all back up. Any hints and tips that I know on that Calibre, I'll show you as well. You can see inside that case there. It's a really nice case. So if you got this far, you like this video, think about subscribing, hitting the like button. Any questions, don't email, put them in the comments. I'll see them there, I'll answer straight away. Any horology questions, general questions like that, put them in there, I'll be happy to help. But yeah, ultimately, tell me what you think of this. On videos like this, I'll be doing lots more. We get so many watches in. I like to know what you like and find interesting, and I'll make better videos. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.